Yes,
Why?
Yes, sir.
Why? No, let him speak.
because
Let him speak. Why? Let him speak. Yes, Jerry, I know. Let him speak.
the row of the first
No,
has
no, I'm talking about his
the
multiplication. Yeah, the roughly first says
yes, the row of the first has two elements,
exactly 1, 2.
and the row the, the second one or the column,
Right. The column of the second.
the column of the second has two elements as well.
Right. So multiplication is possible. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 1, 2. What will be the size of the product?
Size the size of the product would be a 2 by 2, so because the column of the row of the first has like that's two rows,
Yeah, so say it
and
properly. Say it properly.
the first matrix
Exactly.
has two rows,
Right.
and the second matrix has two columns. Well, no, three columns. Sorry,
Right. We all
it's two by
listening,
two by three.
exactly. So repeat yourself again. Go start from the beginning.
The row of the first matrix has two columns, and
No. Take your time. Take your time. Take your time. Look at
the
this there
row
written there. Look at this written there. Take your time.
the
That's why I
first
say that's why I
matrix.
said the learning not happening now, you're getting information, and for that to stay now, you have to continue discussing that all through the weekend. Talk to somebody about it. Discuss it to yourself. Listen to the video again. Listen to yourself speak again because that has been recorded and you will listen to it again. So one more time. What
So
will
the
be the
first
size of the product?
first matrix has two rows,
Exactly. Take your time.
and the second matrix has three columns.
Right. So what will be the product?
2 by 3.
2 by 3, exactly. You have to, you see, there are two rows in the first matrix, and the second matrix has 3 columns. You see, that's why it doesn't really use whiteboard. You see how it's a little clumsy. Okay, so you have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, a 2 by 3. So always associate the word row with first and column with second. When you're talking about multiply, if multiplication is possible, then you talk about number of elements. You count in the elements. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, multiplication is possible because 2 elements in the row of the first, 2 elements in the column of the second. So multiplication is possible. What about
So
this?
so if,
Yes,
so if they cannot be multiplied, let's say we find one day where they cannot be multiplied, just put not
not possible.
possible.
Exactly. Just like how we concluded here, not possible, and that's it. All right,
Right, sir.
not possible. Okay, not possible.
Yes, sir.
All right. So in conclusion, let's just to conclude, and then I will set up the link so you can get the recordings and continue discussing it, continue listening to the video. When you're going to multiply matrices, the first thing you do is to determine if multiplication is possible. Now you're talking about number of elements. So you identify a row and you start to count. You identify a row in the first and you start to count. 1, 2. You identify a column in the second and you start to count. 1, 2. Yes, multiplication is possible. Now what about the size of the matrix now? So what you do now, you identify how many rows in the first now. Each row have 2 elements, but you don't know how many rows are there. There are 1 row, there are 2 rows. So you have to have a 2 by what? How many columns in the second? 1, 2, 3. So it will be a 2 by 3. And then you proceed to multiply. How? 2 times 2 plus 7 times 3. 2 times minus 2, and then that's how you multiply matrices. Okay?
Mhm. So
So yes,
back at the assignment on the exercise 4,
assignment
we
exercise 4.
that part what is it? Evaluate the following. We multiply in there as well.
Yeah, multiplication has happened in there.
Okay.
Just before we conclude, is multiplication possible with part D?
D.
D here. Is
Yes,
multiplication possible? Why?
because the first matrix matrix has three elements.
Where?
The row of the first
Right. That would
has three
important.
elements, and the column of the second has three.
Yes?
You hear me, sir?
Yeah, the column of the second has what?
Three.
Right, so multiplication is possible. What about the size of the product?
The size, the the row. Well, the row of the first matrix has, well, one row.
The first matrix
And
has one row.
yeah, and the the column of the second
No, the
has,
second
well, one
matrix
column.
has. The second
Or the
matrix has.
second matrix has, well, yeah,
How many
one
column?
column,
So
one.
what will be the product?
So it will be a one by one.
It will be a one by one. All right, so thank you very much, everybody. Have a good day. I'm going to prepare the recordings. You'll replay it and then, and keep on practicing. And then
So
anything. Yes,
one more observation.
yes,
It Whatever you do, the product must result with the row. Oh no, the matrix from the front, the first matrix.
right. The number of
And
rows
when
in
it
the first matrix.
no, whatever you do, that the number of rows in the first matrix must be a result.
Right. And the number of columns of the second matrix must be the result. So the
Must
first matrix controlling the rows
controlling.
and the
Yeah, but see
second.
what I'm saying, the because if you have let's say you have a three by two matrix times a two by two, your result will be a three by two.
Yes.
All right. A
Why?
two by two matrix, huh?
Why it will be a 3 by 2?
Yeah, because that's what I was looking at. Your first matrix is what determines the answer.
The number of rows.
The number of rows in that matrix will determine the answer for your product
It will
multiplying
determine the
to the
number
other
of
matrix.
rows in the product.
Number of rows in the product.
And the second matrix will determine number of columns in the product.
Yes. So once if it is the other way around, then it will not be able to multiply.
It depends on the number of elements in the row of the first and the number of elements in the column of the second. That's how you will know if multiplication is possible.
Okay.
Once the number of elements in the row of the first is the same as the number of elements in the column of the second,
Then it's possible.
then it's possible. For example, look at I. Is I possible? Is multiplication possible for I?
Yes, now let me look at it like this. I Yes,
Why?
because the number of rows element in the row matrix one is three,
And
and the number of columns in matrix two is one. Yes, because you can three by five, by five, three by three minus three, and five by two
so the number of elements in the column of the second is 3 also.
is three,
Right,
as well as the number of elements in the row matrix one is three.
right. And what will be the size of the product?
The size of the product could be a three by one. Oh no, a three by two. Sorry, wait. Sorry. Three, 3. Yeah. It's going to be a 3 by 3. 3 by 3. 3 by 3. Yeah. It's going to be a 3 by 3. 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 3 It will be a 3 by 3, sir.
Why?
Because like I observe, like I said, is the number of elements in matrix one would determine your product. And if it's a 3 by 2, a 3 by 3 we have in the matrix one, our result should be a 3 by 3 product.
Well, based on what you just said there, I'm going to prepare another further video because what you said is not totally accurate. And just to clarify, I'm going to prepare a little mini video just to clarify that. And please listen to it very carefully, say it, repeat it, and then to clarify, because what you just said is not really accurate. Okay, so
It's not really accurate because of how I say it, sir, or the results.
or the result, it will not be a 3 by 3. It will be a 2 by 1. The
Will be a
product
2
here
by
will be a,
1.
a 2 by 1. The product here will be a 2 by 1. Why am
Okay,
I
I'm gonna
saying
work
the
it
product will be a 2 by 1?
because you have 2 rows and 1 column.
Exactly.
So I don't work it out, I just work it.
But at first you say a 3 by 3.
Yes, 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 yes. Because I mean, I was looking because you have.
You're looking at the
But
element.
it's not
You're
a 3
looking at
by
the
3.
element.
Sorry, it's not a 3 by 3 we have there, man.
A 2 by 1. Okay, so I'll
Yeah,
prepare
yeah,
another
yeah.
mini video and I'll send it and just repeat this thing to
Because
clarify it.
it's a
Okay.
3 by. We have a 3 by 2.
What do you mean a 3 by 2? Where the 3 by 2? There is no 3 by 2 there.
So we have three rows, 3 columns and 2 rows. So it's a 2 by 3.
Yeah, that's a
What?
2 by 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 rows and 3 columns. And that is a 3 by 1.
So the end product. Okay, I'm gonna multiply it. I will go. I'll work it out and we'll see.
Okay, but you must get a 2 by 1. Two
I must
rows
get a two
and
by
one
one
column.
and 1 column.
Yeah. That's what you're
Okay.
going to get. You're going to get 2 rows and oh, look at how you can do it. For you to know your product, look at what you can do. 2 rows and 1 column. You're going to get a 2 by 1. You see what I did?
Uh huh. Uh huh.
1, 2, 1. You're going to get a 2 by 1. What you're
All
going to
right.
get there? A 1, 2, 3, a 3 by 1, 2, a 3 by 2.
3 by 2. Okay.
Here you're going to get a 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You're going to get a 2 by 3 here for G.
Yeah.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 2 rows, 1, 2 rows, 1, 2, 3 columns, a 2 by 3 you're going to get there.
Oh, okay. So the row always leads.
Exactly.
All right.
You see for H, what you're going to get for H?
It's it's a 2 by 1.
A 2 by 1. Okay, so look out for the mini video and very good your participation everybody. I thank you very much. Have a good day everybody and keep on
Yeah, you too,
practicing.
sir.